Kenny Dangle with Northern Performance Cars here today. So today we're going to discuss my personal engine build from the ground up, because I've had so many questions about it in the past couple years. So I figured what better way than to cut a bunch of message time down on Facebook and text messages, cut right to the chase and show you every single part that I use along the way. All right, we'll start with the fundamental part. This is the engine block. So what we have here is a Dart LS Next aluminum. It's a 4125 rough bore. So one of my favorite things about the Dart block is when I purchased this directly from Dart, the only thing I had to do with this at the machine shop is bore and hone to the final specs of the piston. No extra lifter bore holes, no decking, even the deck was perfect. So these are really a great value for what you get. Dart does a really good job with the machining as well. My favorite parts about the aluminum is the weight. Rated at 96 pounds without the main caps. 110 with the main caps, the oil galley plugs, and the cam retaining plate. So one of the best things about the Dart block as well is the tool steel billet main caps, and they have displayed main bolts, so you have the outer angles of the bolts, and it really adds a lot of rigidity to the block. All right, next we'll discuss the cylinder heads. What I like to use is the TrickFlow 245 casting. It's a cathedral port. These heads flow really well, I think up around 350, 360 CFM. These are a really nice casted head. This one's from Total Engine Airflow, and I got it as a rough casting this year, so I did a little bit of a bowl blend and softened the chambers myself. These come off the shelf with a really nice 2100 inch Varia stainless valve. This year, due to the material in the last few years, guys have had a lot of troubles with tuliping these valves. I made mine last 18, 19, 20 months or so, I can't remember, and I finally ended up having a couple of them start to go bad, so I'm going to upgrade to the titanium, which was really kind of Baker Engineering. They're going to come through and get me a set of Excelodynes made this year. So I'm really excited to try those out, and hopefully that gives me a little bit more of the not ever having to tear the motor apart. It's really nice having a maintenance-free setup. Now we'll go to the connecting rods. So I've been a really big fan of the Cali's products the last few years, have had great success with them. The last 2 years I ran these rods for 2 years in a row. This was their Ultra H-beam rod, and this is rated at like 1500 flywheel. So on the dyno I did push these pretty hard to about 37.5 pounds of boost on that GTR 98, and it made 1800 wheel horse. I ended up only making it to about 1650-ish on the track. So right around 32, 33 PSI is right where I started battling wheelies and stuff with the car, but was still low 720s at 190 plus mile an hour passes and 460s in the 8th. So these rods have been really good to me. These were an excellent rod, excellent value, but I'm gonna raise the goals a little bit this year. So I stepped up to their Enforcer I-beam. This rod is a beefy son of a gun. This one is 700 grams up from the 660 from the H-beam. Super nice Timken steel. I mean, this thing is so finely polished, and just the finish grade on this is awesome. My machinist, Brian at McDonald's Napa, said these were a really nice rod, so I'm excited to use these out, and they look extremely beefy, so I'm not concerned with throwing some timing and extra boost at it. So the pistons that I've used the last 3 years in a row are the Wiseco built for BTR boost pistons for 4125 bore. These are an awesome piston. They're a flat top with a negative 3.2 cc chamber. These are actually a really nice piston for the money. I think these retail right around $850, $900 right now. So these ones I used for 2 seasons on them, and I just hit them with some brake clean them off. The skirt looks really good on them, the top ring liner and everything. So these out of the box come with a 200 wall wrist pin and the nice rings, the nitride rings. These are a really good value, and still to this day I haven't had a problem with them, not a single one. So I'm going to continue to run these for sure. All right, so next we'll discuss the crankshaft. Last year, as most of you know, I used the $775 K1 crankshaft. This was actually a really good value, a little bit heavy, and some of the downfalls to this was it started to show main cap wear after a little while. I didn't have the engine apart for 18 months, and once I finally started having oiling issues, I tore it down and seen the main caps kind of walking. So this is just you know, a nice crank for the value, and I would probably run these at 1500 horsepower all day long. So this year I'd stepped into Cali's. It's the first time using a Cali's crank in my own car. This one's their CCW Magnum crank. So this one has the center counterweights on the opposite side of the journals. A little bit thinner journals there. This is a really nice crankshaft. Like, the finish is super nice on it. Hollow stems in a few spots, a little bit lighter than this one. But this should really RPM a little bit easier, and like I said, basically save on the mains a little bit. So the only wear I'd ever seen on the LS Next was just the main caps moving side to side, but that's traditionally what you're gonna get with the standard crankshaft. Next, we'll talk about the valve train. So I get a lot of questions on this. For the last 2 years, I've ran Brian Tooley Racing camshaft right off from the shelf. They're 388 cubic inch camshaft. Johnson ST 2126 LSRs. I would usually shift that car at 84, 8500, and then a few times 88, 89, and it just screams up there. So it's a really nice combination. So the valve springs, I use Brian Tooley's 685 lift springs. I usually will shim them around 1.710, 1.705, and that just gives you a nice valve seat and basically nice valve control. So the comp cams that are ground by Brian Tooley are a really nice finish. They have the MSE finish. So I've used these for 18 months straight, pulled them out, and there's not a single line in the manufacturing part of it. And just the lifter rides so smooth on it. The valve lobes are nice. Everything is really nice on these, and the MSE surface from comp is really cool. It lasts a long time. All right, last but not least, we'll talk about fasteners and bearings. So in the dart block, the Mahle Clavites, these are a really nice coated bearing that comes with them. So I've used these for this bearing specifically for 18 months, and it came back out reusable. These are an excellent bearing for the money. So I use those for the mains. I really like the calico coated. These ones are a really nice bearing. So they have a nice black finish on them. Out of all the bearings I've used, these ones are the lowest maintenance. Like, I have never had to replace a set of these for any odd reason other than obviously something was destroyed in somebody's engine, but these bearings are an excellent value, and I suggest using these every time you take an engine apart in comparison to anything. As most of you have seen and followed me on Facebook the last few years, we've had Kings delaminating within a startup and a few runs later, so we've completely pushed those out of the shop. We don't use those for anything anymore. So as far as fasteners, standard ARPs, nothing crazy, still using the regular bolts right off the shelf, just 3/8 bolts, standard torque. We don't over torque them. There's no point to go 100 foot-pounds of torque on your head bolts. So that concludes what my engine consists of in the Camaro that I had and what's going to go into the Fox body that I'm building for 2020. So at the end of the day, like, share, comment, follow Northern Performance Cars on YouTube and Inside the Build. And if you guys would like to see anything else that would interest you, let us know and we'll make a video to suit your needs.